intro? That would be hilarious. Let's get ready to party, baby. Bringing it. Bring it. Hey, everyone. I still sound like a man. And now it's doing that thing where I'm going to have to sound like a real, like the real kind, like my ex-husband. And I'm going to have to go and like grunt. You know how one of our favorite content creators, you know how when he talks, he goes and like makes really gross sounds. I might be in line. I might be in the same category today. Hey, Debbie Lovin' Life. I love that you're packing. This is getting very exciting for you. Hey, mods. Hey, D. Eaglewood. Cool name and welcome in. Hey, Kathy Burkhart. Aspire to Inspire. Are you on vacation? Did I see a comment somewhere where you were on vacation? If so, enjoy that. Thank you, Dorothy, and welcome in. Hey, Jojo. Donna Koopa. Hey, Cindy Cat Lover. Hey, Aloha Sue. I have a cat hair somewhere. We're going to have to find it. Buffy's here. Kim is blue. Joanna Arcana. Hi there, babe. Sigrid. Liz Tricks. Hey, Renee B. Yeah, you sound like a man who works in a garage. Thank you. I kind of look like one today, too. A little bit of a mullet happening. Hey, Chrissy Twig. Hey, Catherine J. Hey, Debbie Zito. Puka Vista made it. Joanne Hawley. She's always with us, except when she goes to visit her kids, and we will be sad to see her go, but she'll come back. Hey, Karina. Hey, Linda Perales. Christy Nicole. Hey, Alicia Johnson. Jen Finberg. Kim Leaf. We made it in. Hey, West Coast Fancy Nancy. Heather in the library. Thanks, Renee B. Weren't they cute? Hey, Raymond. No, I don't like the orange cat. I don't really kiss any of my cats. I don't like kissing cats. Their hair goes everywhere and it always sticks to my skincare. Hey, Christy Nicole, Debbie Gonzalez, Linda made it in, and Anita Dutch. I hope I didn't miss any of you. At the beach, relaxing before teachers report Monday. Good for you, Aspire. Hey, Tiffany Murfitt. J.R. Briggs made it in. Why don't you sit up here? Puka Vista. Hey, Clara, welcome in. Thank you for asking. I'm a little bit better today. I got out of the house today. I went and bought my prescriptions, picked them up. And hey, Holly, sorry, Whidbey Island hippie girl. I went and picked up my Callie Galley. Did I say hi to you? Hey, Ewa, went and picked up my prescriptions. And welcome in, Abigail. That's crazy, Debbie. I can't wait. Hey, Gary Mackey. Yeah, I'm getting there, Gary. Thanks for coming in and checking on me. Hey, Susan Cook. Thanks, Jojo. Dang, girl. Hey, Allie. Diamond Lady. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, Debbie, I'm excited for this. I can't wait for you to tell me what you think when you get to Salinas. I also can't believe you've never been there. Like, it kind of freaks me out that you're moving somewhere that you've never been. Like, I hope you end up loving it. You should, but I've talked to a lot of expats who live there, and they're like Tommy said this to me when I was, hey, Armine, when I was there a couple weeks ago. I did, Anita. Tommy said to me, okay, Briggs, if like it takes like 4 months of being there and you either love it or hate it after that 4 months, like you get past the first 4 months, and a few expats have said like it's kind of isolating and they don't love it. Now you're retiring there. Thanks, Jojo. You're retiring there and you're ready to just chill in life. Wow, Debbie. But I think you guys will love it because you're looking for that kind of lifestyle. I would never, hey, Jennifer Minton, I would never want to live there full time. I've said that because I'm not ready to retire. Do I love it there? Yeah, but I would not love it there 12 months out of the year. Like I would love it there probably 6 to 8 months out of the year. And then I'd have to hop on a plane and come back to the US for a while just to get my bearings and used. I mean, it really is. You can't hop in a car and run to Target. Like it's isolating in that way. There, you know, if you love the beach and you love going out to eat, that's what's there for you. But I need more. I'm a city girl. Like I need to be able to like run around and I don't know. I'm also not when I'm there, I don't want to hang out with people. I like even here if I want to go shopping and let's say I had a bunch of friends close by, I don't know that I'd call them. I like doing stuff by myself. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You're going to love it. That's what I'm trying to say. Um Jojo, you can always say stuff about me. You know everything there is to know about me. And if you stop, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to think that you're not interested and you're on my list. Yeah, Kim is blue. It does. Yeah, there's a good and bad. There's pros and cons to the country versus the city. We're in our 60s, we're minimalist, not into shopping, enjoy eating out in water. Exactly. That's why I know that you guys will love it because of where you're at. Like you've lived a big full life, you're retiring. Like I could see that. I could see being done with thanks Jojo. I think my hair is like this today because of the rain we've been getting. Hey, Gemini girl. I think that you've done and seen it all and you're ready to just relax. That's to me what that's about. It's definitely like the slow lifestyle. I like that to a degree, and then I gotta get hopping again. I don't know what it is. Hey, slot puppy, but I think you'll love it. I don't know why you wouldn't. Hey, Janine. Oh, Janine, I'm so sorry. 17-year-old cat, though, that's pretty amazing. But definitely prayers for your daughter putting her cat down. But I love to hear it when they make it to that age. Told my son the same thing. He would hate it there. He needs more city and convenience. Yes, you know what you're doing. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Wow, thank you, Aspire to Inspire. Hey, Linda Garden Lady, thank you. Hey, beautiful dreamer. C Dubs, I feel like I haven't seen you for a minute. Hey, Yawn. Hey, Andy. So yeah, Kim, Anita picked up my prescriptions today. You guys want to hear something crazy that you're not going to give a holy crap about? So I got a text. I get texts from Costco when my prescription is ready. And I got a text later yesterday that all of them were ready. I got my Augmentin he prescribed for, he said I have a pretty bad sinus infection. What else did I get? Oh, I got another inhaler because mine is really old and he asked me about it. Mine's like 3 years old. He was like, "Yeah, you probably should get a new one." I got a new inhaler and okay, so my Ozempic. Hey, Tennessee girl. That's okay, Abigail. Thanks for stopping in, girl. So I go to pick up I got the text. I think I told you guys this yesterday. And also, I'm breaking out in some kind of a rash. Like, I have these weird little bumps all over me, and it's freaking me out. Like, they're everywhere and they're itchy. I mean, they're not everywhere. There's like 6 of them I counted, but still, it's weird. And 4 of them are on my right butt cheek. Hey, Marianne. Hey, FAFO. So I go in there and I say to Chad, I go, "Hey, Chad, here to get my script," right? Chad knows me. And I said, but I got a text that it's $150, man. And I said, if we can't use oh, okay, Abigail. I said, if we can't use some kind of a coupon, I'm just going to get my sugars are not great, beautiful dreamer. My A1C was 7.8, which it's usually 6.8. Hey, Rhonda, thanks, babe. So I say to Chad, if I can't get it down below the 150 with a coupon, I'm just going to get my Ribelsis. Guess what Chad said? You're not going to believe what Chad said. Hey, HBH. Chad goes, well, that's not going to be an option for you. I'm not allergic to Augmentin. I've taken it a lot in my life. Not a lot, but I would say I've taken it at least 5 times. I don't know, Angie Mo. So Chad goes, well, you can't get your Ribelsis today because they don't make it anymore. And I said, what? What did you say? He said, they just stopped making it. I said, that's not true. And I wish that you would stop spreading fake news, Chad. Okay. Well, my pharmacist's name is Nathan, but Chad is the pharmacy assistant who I talk to, Chad and Michael, actually. But I love chatting with Nathan because I make him uncomfortable. And he's a very distinguished, very much older Black man. And I like Nathan a lot. I like to just shoot the breeze with him. And you can tell he never has time for the breeze to shoot. And therefore, I like to push those boundaries just in an ever so loving kind, just a normal person way. But I say to Chad, quit spreading fake news, right? Like I'm a YouTuber. You're not going to pull one over on me. Okay. And Chad goes, well, Miss YouTuber, I never say that. And I would never say that. I hope you understand my humor. I'm kidding. I would never say that. But I know someone who would. And you can't spell asshole without ASL. Okay. But I said, no, dude, you're wrong. And he goes, no. Hey, Helena, he said, they stopped making Ribelsis. And I said, what? In the Joe virus? Because Joe virus takes Ribelsis. Okay. I don't know if you know. I'm sure he's panicking just as much. Joe has lost a ton of weight. Hey, Jess J on his Ribelsis. Now I'm still stuck. I haven't lost anything. My body's just laughing at me like a Simpsons cartoon going, ha ha. So I said, Chad, the jig is up. Okay. I'm done with the fake news and I'm done with the hate. And I know that you're working with the haters, Chad, and I'm not buying what you're selling. Okay. We're all stocked up here. Get me my Ribelsis and I'll move on with my life. Okay. Chad says, no can do, girly. But here he says, is Ribelsis not just pillows? No. Who, what, where? Now I found out today it's not, unless they're lying to me. Hey, Lydia. Tell Lucas we love him. I don't want him. No, I'm not fit for that, but tell him that I love him. Auntie Reese loves him. So, yeah, they apparently just stopped making it. I think Chad lied to me. I said, why? Like, is it because of the cancer or something? Like, is it causing cancer? And it's like, was pulled off the shelves overnight? Like, what's going on? Because I've been on it for like 5 years. And he said, no. Hey, Case Face. He said, no, it's the, some kind of a marketing. Okay, Puka Vista. He said it was like a marketing thing. And I said, I think you're lying again. I think you're just full of lies. And I said, well, so what do I do? And he said, well, I have your Ozempic right here. And I said, well, then Kelly Osbourne me up, man. Hey, Wisconsin Barb. I was like, I'm ready to drop 200 pounds in a week, just like everybody else has on Ozempic. If it can happen to Kelly Osbourne, it can happen to me. Okay. Hey, Nicola. So, okay, Helena, you snuggle in and sleep, you little baby koala. So here's what happened. Hey, Sadie. They said we applied a coupon and it was $50. $50. He was like, that's really not bad. I felt like I was on that show Pawn Stars. He was like, best I can do is $50. He was like, not a penny more. And that's not bad. He was like, you're actually not paying as much as you're going to walk out of here and go to another pharmacy. He was like, so you want to start your own pharmacy? Fine. But right now, right here, $50, it's yours. That's how he haggled with me. And I was like, you're pretty good, Chad. You're some of the best I've seen. Well, gaining weight's okay, Debbie, but it isn't for me because I'm already so fat and I'm got the beaties. Hey, Marla. It's like a concern. I don't care that I'm chubby, but apparently my pancreas does, and my doctor with the mullet. So, hey, DNV. So I said, all right, ring me up. So I got my Ozempic. Come to find out, it's in like the exact same looking bottle. Okay. It's a little weird. And come to find out, it's made by the same company. Hey, Jennifer Steps. And I'm a little, oh, no, I don't think you can get it in Ecuador, Puka Vista. I've checked with a few Ecuadorian pharmacists. I don't think you can get it. Chad drives a hard bargain, Donna Cooper. Wow, Sadie Cooper, thank you. Not related to Donna Cooper, but they did comment at the same time, like back to back. I find that fascinating. Remember Katie did and Katie did it, and they used to like comment at the same time. Isn't that crazy? Hey, Stella. That's okay. Love you, Stella. I'm just happy to see you. So, Ozempic can be harsh. In what way? So I'm on the lowest dose, which I think is weird because I was on the highest dose of Ribelsis. Yes, it was, Iwa. Yeah, Chad gave me a hookup. I said, how'd you get it down to $50, brother? And he said, because we applied a coupon, sister. And I said, smart. That's why you went to pharmacy school, Chatty, and I did not. So I said, okay. So then I went and I said, should I talk to Nathan about this? And Nathan's the pharmacist that can't stand me. Yeah, but it's like the same thing, Holly. I've been on it for 5 years. And I went to Nathan and I could tell that Nathan did not want to chat with me. So I was like, "Hey, Nady." And he was like, "Hey, what's your question?" Like you could tell he was like, "Not this bitch." And I said, "So," I was like, "Got a lot of concerns today." I was like, "First time out of the house in over a week, okay? Went to the doctor yesterday. I was like, little bit of a congestion here." Yeah. I was like, "I know that you saw I got some Augmentin, didn't ya?" I said, "And I know you're wondering why." I said, "Well, this side is clogged up according to the doctor, and he's concerned. So he placed me on the Augmentin." And I said, "Naturally, it's the first time I've been out of the house, first time I put any makeup on, first time I got dressed in like a week. And here I am. Hey, Linda Gillum." And he said, "How fun for me." And I said, "So let's discuss this. What are the ups? What are the downs? What do I need to worry about? Am I going to shit myself more than I normally do? Right? Like, do I need to pick up some diapers while I'm here?" And he said, "Not really." Like, this dude was so bored with me. "Hey, Susan Trigg." He was like, "It's pretty much same thing." And I was like, "Is it, Nathan? Or are you just not wanting to chat with me?" I was like, "Are they the same thing?" And he was like, "I mean, of course they're not the same thing." He was like, "But it's pretty much, yeah." And I said, "So how do I take it?" And he was like, "The same way." And I said, "Is my hair going to fall out? Because this is real." And he said, "No." And then he got at his computer and he was like, "Stomach problems." And he said something about, "No, J Bug, I didn't." I know Gary. He's a lot like you. He's just a simple, he's very to the point. He doesn't really mess around, Gare Bear. And I do. I like to mess around a lot. And that's why most people really don't like putting in the time or effort with me. Hey, Caroline in Canada. So, yeah, he said constipation. He did, Puka Vista. And I said, thank the heavens above. Because I said, Nathan, I have been pissing liquid out of my colon for about a week now. And I said, if I start this tomorrow, will it firm me up, big guy? And he said, yeah, it probably will cause some constipation, like I just said. And I said, good for me, because again, I can't tell if it's coming out of the front or back because they're the same frequency, consistency. You know what I mean? So we're excited about this and we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. It is the lowest dose, which I'm concerned about because I'm on the highest dose of Ribelsis. Nathan was over the top thrilled to chat with me. Yeah, he said something. Hey, Three Cats. He said something about gallbladder issues. Wegovy isn't covered by my insurance because that's prescribed for weight loss, I was told. Gallbladder issues. And I said, don't you worry about that, Nady, because I don't have a gallbladder, don't you? Because I've told you before. And he was like, okay. Hey, Heather Huckleberry. Watch out for not like being nauseous. Who, what, where now? I shit myself all the time. The nausea. So I have that problem with Ribelsis. I don't have it every day, but when I have it, see, I got some kind of a scratchy rash happening and I'm not sure what's going on, but I think it could be trichinosis. I've got a little red bump here that I'm a little bit concerned about, as you can see. I have 3 more on my right butt cheek. And don't ask how I found that out. I was scratching it in public. But I think I've got maybe a little bit of, as you can see, there might be some trichinosis here in my arm taint. So I may have to go back and see Nathan. So I don't know. We'll have to see what's going to happen. But when I get nauseous on Ribelsis, it lasts like 45 minutes. It's usually mid-morning. And I'm like, oh God, don't talk to me. I'm going to just puke everywhere. What did my doctor say about the dose issue? What a great question, Iwa. And thank you for listening to this stupid conversation. I said yesterday to the doctor, I said, now, dude, I'm on the highest dose of Ribelsis. You're putting me on the lowest dose of Ozempic. How am I going to look like Kelly Osbourne if you start me out slow? I'm a big girl and I've been taking this shit for years. I was like, give me the high dose. Give me some hydrocodone. Hey, Audrey, you have itchy skin. Should I send some money? That was my way of, I'm glad you understood and translated into what I was trying to fish for. He went like this to me: apples and oranges. about the dosage thing. So I had to confirm that with Nathan today. Hey, Eric, I said, Nathan, doctor said yesterday, highest dose versus lowest dose of Ozempic, apples and oranges. I said, he's lying, isn't he? And he said, no, he's not. It is two very different things. They process differently. I said, well, get your shit together, both of you guys. Why don't you guys call one another, right? Have a conversation about my health. This is America, okay? I'm not just a number. I expect you guys to speak after hours this evening before the world news and just come up with some kind of a game plan so that I don't come to the pharmacy all fucking confused about my life, right? Like, am I reaching for the stars here? Not really. No, I think Jill's a goner, Buffy. Reese, try it. Stay on the lowest dose for as long as possible. Take protein with your injection. It's a pill, Diane. Take before bed. Everyone is different. So here's the exciting thing, Diane. They just came up with it in a pill. And that's what I'm doing because I'm scared of needles. So did the doctor say to lower your protein? It's weird lowering carbs and increasing. He didn't say anything about food because he's a doctor. And I have found that doctors don't really talk to you about your diet. They usually just say, hey, you're fat. Take this. But have no fear. Who, what, where now. I have changed my diet overnight. If you want to know what's in the crock pot right now, I'll tell you. I am motivated to change my life, at least for the next 72 hours or so before I get burnt out. I've got a crock pot in the other room called the kitchen, also known as the kitchen. I thought the same thing, Critters Creations, but I don't question pharmacists. Nathan really knows what the hell he's doing. So in said crock pot, I've got little bit of really, he didn't say anything about changing my diet, quite honestly. Like, he didn't tell me to increase protein or anything. He just said, do any crazy thing you like. You're going to shit yourself anyway. What difference does it make? So I've got on the bottom of the crock pot just a little bit of vegetable broth. Okay, we're just starting slow. You just put a little bit of veggie broth. All right. Then I took in 2, not 1 this time, 2, because they were 2 for $6 yesterday at Publix. Interesting, Denise LaFawn. I'm excited about this change in my pill because it's not, my Ribelsis kind of stopped working for me. So I'm kind of excited to try this. I'm excited that all the movie stars are 6 pounds on it. And maybe you can do that for me. It'd be so cool if I could weigh like 160. I've never weighed 160. That would be neat. Right now I'm 180. And if I could get down to 160, I feel like Steven Spielberg would call me. Like, I feel like that's all we're waiting on is just like drop 20 pounds and you're going to be found out about in this world. Okay. Hey, Jackie Richards. Hey, Chops World. So here's what's happening. We chopped up, Bo and I did, chopped up 2 heads of cauliflower today, put in said crock pot. Then we put a half of a tabbed up, right? Whatever you call that, sliced up, half of a stick of butter, little tabs everywhere. Okay. Smell it. Then we took a whole shit ton of minced garlic. Okay. We put that everywhere. All right. Yes. Then we took a whole bunch of, it was on, I made a mistake and I'm kind of mad. It might've ruined the recipe. Cabo or Cabot. I don't know if the T is silent with you weird Northeastern people. I took, those were on sale yesterday. They were buy one, get one free. And I got some shredded, seriously sharp Vermont cheddar. I took some bites after I put it everywhere and I was like, ooh, this is gross. So may not be good. Then I took a whole big ass, one of those giant bags. Is it Cabot? I feel fancier when I say Cabo. Susan P., you little angel. Right back at you. Really tiny too. Susan lives under a leaf in the forest like Catherine B. Me too, Chops World. So then we cut up the giant bag of broccoli. Now, broccoli happens to be my favorite thing when it comes to the two. I like broccoli more, but I do love cauliflower. It's like your kids. You like one of them more than the other one. If I had two kids, I would certainly like one more than the other, and I would make that very clear in their upbringing so that when they get older, they're full of trauma and ready to go through therapy, just like all of us, right? You got to have some kind of a problem. You got to make a goal for a problem so you can overcome the problem and come out of it, like a better person. So then Bo and I cut up the broccoli, and hear him see him. Look at the tail. He loves broccoli. Bo ate half the damn bag. Look at the tail. It's going nuts. It's going nuts. Talking about broccoli gets him excited. So Bo and I chopped up this broccoli. We put it on top of the cheese, the garlic, and the said cauliflower. And then if you go to the very bottom, you've got a little pool of vegetable broth sitting down there that it's just swimming around in. It's just a little lukewarm, just a little bath of vegetable broth. Not beef, not chicken, because I don't like chicken bones. We did the broccoli dance together, Debbie Love and Life. So then Bo said, "It looks full. Why don't you give me the rest?" And I did, and he's been broccoli farting his way through life ever since. Did you love it, Bobo? A Bojangles? Did you like the broccoli, a Bojangles? So then he does do the broccoli dance. And then we covered it with said more cheese. But this time I just did a Sharp Kraft bag of cheddar. Okay. So we just did the regular kind that we all grew up on. So I put that on it. Okay. Okay. Didn't miss a piece of broccoli covered in the cheese. Then we took more garlic. Okay. Katie Fulton, I was thinking of you this afternoon. Why was I thinking about you? Maybe it was the perfume, but it wasn't. What was it? I don't know what made me think of you today, but something did. Hey, Sigbeats. Karina, how many pets do I have? You mean how many freeloaders live in my home? 5. I have 3 cats, 2 that were dumped that if you want to come get them, you're welcome to. And I have Kid, the cat who came with me from Kansas City, this large freeloader man here. And then I have Gertrude, who's not a freeloader because she was sent here from the heavens. Baccarat Rouge. Hey, just as I am. So we put all that on top. Okay. And then nice Wisconsin Barb. And so you just put the said lid onto the broccoli, onto the top of said crock pot. Okay. My crock pot doesn't work properly, so I have to get a new one on Black Friday, but we're going to use this one for now. We set it on high for 6 hours because that really means 4 hours. I don't know why mine doesn't cook all the way through all my shit when I cook it. So I couldn't be more excited. And I mean this, like I could not be. My house smells so good. Not to mention, by the time I eat this, I'm probably going to be like 40 pounds lighter because I think this recipe mixed with an Ozempic pill means magic happens. The Lord takes over. I wake up, my fupa's gone. My chalupa is no longer a chalupa underneath the fupa. My vagina is going to go from like this pudgy, round, 2-flap little deal to like the kind you see in your dreams, or if you watch something where you would see a vagina. My vagina is going to be how it's supposed to be, like a triangle. So I'm hoping that I wake up tomorrow, Ozempic and broccoli cauliflower recipe, fupa gone, right? Vagina, nice little angular cut triangle, like how it's supposed to look. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm really excited about it. And I will let you guys know how the shaping ends up. I intend to take some photos, some before and afters. Hey, buddy, East Coast. I really am just, hey, Lumen. I'm just trying to go more for a Kelly Osbourne look, right? Just a lot more chiseled, shaped. Like I'm looking for this to disappear. Hey, Florida court reporter. So we'll see. But I think a nice triangular vagina would be cool. It's a goal to strive for in your 40s. But I think it's neat to mix a good recipe with a good Ozempic. I think that's just the key to where you want to be. right? As a middle-aged woman in this life, I think that I just want to go with, right, my heart. And following the heart means making a nice recipe, popping an Ozempic. And I think those two things combined equals success, right? In long term in your relationships, sexually for sure. Hopefully financially, right? Like I just really hope that this is my future's bright. And I hope that I have to wear shades. Um, thank you, J Bug. Uh, can you hear her snoring? No, it's fine. We're just on a show. Let us know how it shapes up. Katie, I can only imagine what yours is like. I've seen your tits. I can imagine the rest is probably just as like a fine wine. Life coach Reese. So if you need any more life advice or recipes on how to shape up your vag and your tum tum, your foop, just please stay tuned. But that's going to be a really good recipe. I can tell right now. I've made it before. I hope I didn't ruin it with that sharp ass cheese. But I think once you mix it all together, hey, NJS, it's going to feel right. I think it's going to feel good. What the hell is a rhombus? So speaking of being a coach, I had hey Hawks, can you turn the air conditioner a notch cooler? I'm surprised that kid could hear me. Um, thank you, Slot Puppy. Doesn't it sound good, Joanne Hawley? So speaking of coaching and such, I had therapy today. And I'd like to discuss that with you now. I had a really interesting therapy session, and I will just tell you, hey, Jen O, rhombus is an unequal square. Well, that's what mine looks like now. Am I saying it right? Rhombus? Yeah, mine is definitely like this, like if you shaped mine, it would probably just be like taking some Play-Doh out of the container and like that would be the shape of mine. Hey, Sherry Hicks, thank you for the advice. My Monjero cancels out my ice cream sandwich. So that's how I was living my life up until yesterday. Interesting, Kyla. Hey, Don Clark. I was living my life this way until yesterday. I was like, well, I pop a pill, I'm diabetic, and I eat whatever I want. I don't know that I'm buying that anymore. Hey, Meredith Lynn, and I'm kind of scared because my doctor frightened me. I don't know if it was the mullet or just his words, but he really scared my soul. So yesterday he said, who, what, where now, that the way I'm going is fine because I'm young and it's fun. I mean, it's kind of like getting STDs when you're youthful. It's like, who cares? You just pop some amoxicillin and you're done with it, right? You get back on the saddle, literally. But as you get older and you're in the third stage of syphilis and, you're starting your brain cells are not firing because of the syphilis and all the catting around, all the rolls in the hay, that's different. And thank you for your super chat. However, as you age, it's not fun anymore. So that's kind of how I look at it is it's fun now, right? Eating these ice cream sandwiches, like you said, it's fun now hopping over to Taco Bell. But then when he told me, like, you're going to actually have to pay for it and you're actually doing damage, like, when you do roll around in the hay too much and you do cat around too much and you've had just a bunch of different dick, right? I mean, let's just be honest, like that can really be detrimental to your cervix, and your overall just general health, according to my OBGYN. Yeah. So we says best to just start eating better now. So I'm thinking I just turned 42. My life is at least halfway over, probably 3/4. Yes, Renee B. So I figure, well, chlamydia is easy, right? Chlamydia is chlamydia because it's no big deal. It's a pop of a pill and you can get rid of it within like 24 hours. And again, you're just back giving rides like the Greyhound bus line. But when it starts to become something more, non-curable, right? Or when it starts to affect the nerve endings in your brain cells, like the third stage of syphilis, that's when you start going, maybe I shouldn't be giving rides as often as the Greyhound bus line, right? Maybe I shouldn't be giving rides more than Seattle Slew. Um, yeah, Donna, do you know, or can you find out if diabetes runs in the family? It does not. Hey, Charcoal Ninja. I'm the only diabetic in my family. Now, oddly enough, Abigail, funny you should ask, everyone in my family has cancer or has died of cancer. So that's a bummer. Hey, Sophia, like my one grandpa died of leukemia, never met him. The other one I also never met died of esophageal cancer. Okay. Grandmas both died of cancer. I want to say it was ovarian. That all runs in my family, which scares the holy hell out of me. But no diabetes. And not everybody's fat in my family, though. I'm kind of one of the only fat people in my family. Both of my parents are thin and tall. Like, I'm not really sure why I came out as a corgi. But no, nobody's got the beaties. So that's, Abigail, I was thinking what you were thinking, which are they really my parents? Right? That's your next thought. Like, if you don't have diabetes and you don't have diabetes, what are you not telling me? Because that's the other thing, of course, that comes up. And I'm going to sit her down and talk to the old girl. So probably. Christy Nicole says, I wonder if the formula from Scientology has anything to do with health problems. Probably. Yeah. If I had to guess, it might have something to do with the 5 or 6 purification rundowns that I did. Did the lead singer of Nazareth have diabetes? Puka Vista. That you read my mind. No, beautiful dreamer. So my mom makes me angry. Hey, VJ Burke, my mom said to me, like, not that long ago, she was like, my mom's average weight has always been like 105. My mom is very thin. She always has been. She was talking about when her weight was like a problem a few years ago when my dad was first diagnosed with cancer and she was like stress eating. Okay. This kind of shit makes me mad when really thin women do this. My mom was like, I really gained a lot of weight. She was telling me this. And I was like, really? Like, I can't imagine that. Really? I don't remember that. And she goes, hey, Haley, thank you. She goes, hey, Sue Smiling, thank you for coming in and chatting with us. My mom, hey, Lynn as well. My mom goes, yeah, she goes, I got to a point with my weight where I weighed as much as I did with you when I had you. And I said, how much was that? And she was like, 127. My mother gave birth to me at 127 pounds. Does that just piss everybody off? That just pissed me right off. I was like, you know what? That's a boundary and you're crossing it. And I have to get out of here for the day. I was like, good day to you, Diane. Yeah, beautiful dreamer. My mom was like, my highest weight, 127. I'm like, fuck off out of here with that nonsense, Diane. So I don't really understand why I am this this just large character in the family. I'm not really sure. I don't know why my legs are as, long as a Chihuahua's legs. I don't know why I didn't get what my parents said they had me, right? Like, apparently I was conceived by these people. We're waiting on tests. What did your doctor say about the fact that you did not talk to him about hormones? Oh, he asked me about that. He goes, do you want to get on birth control? And I was like, no, dude, I don't. I'm fucking 42 years old. I was like, I don't know why you think I'm some teenage hussy. I was like, what'd you call me? And he was like, I'm just asking. I said, no, just because I had a perfect pap smear and I have a perfect cervix doesn't mean that we need to get on birth control. And he was like, okay. I said, I'm not interested. So stop trying to peddle your birth control pills at me. Have I ever had myself tested for cancer? Hey, nurse. No. And I think my sister is doing those tests. Here's why. I know this sounds terrible and Tommy gets really mad at me for this. Hey, Karen RN, I don't want to know. I don't think that part, I know, Sophia, one of your boobs weighs 127 pounds, Sophia. That's insane to me. Like, Sophia, I've seen her. She's my friend. I can say that. She's German and her tits, I think we said this the other day. Was it Sophia? No, it was Miss Sunrise Dawn. Both of these ladies, Alana, you too, your guys' tits are like 80% of your whole body. If you saw these ladies' tits, I said it. I was like, your guys' tits are like the ocean. You know, when you look at a globe and the earth is like 80% water, that's what their tits are. They're just all tits. They're like tits and a set of eyes and a mouth. Like, if you saw these things on the Zoom call, I don't know. I felt envious, but also grateful in a lot of weird ways. There was a lot of weird thoughts going around me. Hey, old Charlie. Yeah, 127 pounds. Hey, Amy Knight. Okay, so I don't really want to know. And I don't mean that, I say that seriously. I don't mean that disrespectfully to anybody that has cancer. Okay. I don't mean that insensitively either. I said this in therapy today. Scientologists don't care about the body that much as far as that goes. I'm not a Scientologist anymore, but I do still have a lot of the same thought process as far as like, I just know myself, and good for you, Alana. Here's the thing. I guess I would want to know if I had cancer, but I don't want to be worrying myself with like taking tests and they're like, you do show up this gene and that gene, and you have a higher potential at risk for getting cancer. I don't want to know that, because then I'm going to worry every single day about it. And I'm going to go, I have a higher risk of it, so I'm probably going to get it. That's how my mind works. So I just don't want to know. Hey, Pat Jonas, I know that might sound really crazy to you, but to me, it's just one more added stressor where if someone said to me, you're at a much higher risk for this type of cancer, I'd go, well, shit. Now I'm freaked out about it. And every time I feel a lump or I start coughing too much, I'm going to be like, this is it. I'm dying. This is the cancer. I'm incredibly dramatic. I don't know if you guys know that. If you don't, then I would be concerned. You should know that. This is why a lot of people don't like me or want to hang out with me. Hey, Happy Days. And this is why, honestly, I want friends, but I don't know that friends want really me, because it's a lot of work. Your hands are going to be full at all times. Like most people, you know how Tommy constantly goes, wow, woman, the things you say. Like most people, he's just being nice, but most people really feel that way. Most people are like, you're fucking exhausting. And I've talked to you for 7 minutes and I'm exhausted. Like I need to go take a nap. Hey, Barbara Waite. Yeah, I don't want to unnecessarily worry. Well, there's Joel Sachs again. I love that you're back. Hey, Lenora Gray. I'm not interested in knowing that I could be at risk for, rotting on the inside. I don't think I want to know that. Yeah, I don't need the suggestion. It'll just sit there and go off all the time, and I'll just be worried all the time. And so that's that. How do I relate to this? How do I relay this to you? I'm sure, Raymond. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Joel Sachs. I think I am feeling better. I took my first dose of Augmentin from the pharmacy today. Hey, Butterfly Girls, watching for the first time. What a cute name and picture. Welcome in. I hope you'll stick around. Hit subscribe, you guys, while you're in here. Joel Sachs, I took my first antibiotic. I take 2 a day. I'll take my other one later. Couple hours ago, and then immediately crapped myself. So I think it's on the mend. I think it's working. What are these cancer tests? They tell you if you may get it. Kristen Hawk, I'm not entirely sure, and I really don't want to know. So I had therapy today. We're switching over a little bit because I don't remember what I was talking about before this. So we're just going to pretend I do remember, but we're changing the subject intentionally and just moving forward. I do have stuff I really want to talk about. And it's one of those things where I wish I had made more notes and I have to break it down in my head because I was talking really, really fast. And yeah, I've been crapping since I took that on Augmentin. Um, I was talking really fast and getting a lot of work done in that 1 hour, but now I have to go back over it in my mind and kind of remember everything that we said. But there were some really bangers in it today. Kathy Brown, I think you're awesome. Reese, it would never be boring. You're like sunshine, but I feel like I don't want to know. Yeah, Kathy, I don't want to know. But thank you, Kathy, and I love you. Um, yeah, it just brings on worry. I know you well enough by now that you don't come to accept things in your own time. So while I may not want to know, I'm confident that will change when you're ready. Well, thank you for the confidence in me, Abigail. I appreciate that. Yes, I did. Kim is blue. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about. Kim, I knew you'd ask me that. Yes, Augmentin can cause yeast infections, and I've got several pills. I've got diflucan on the ready to go. So don't worry. That's how I know. When I've taken Augmentin before, I got a yeast infection. So I've got a whole bunch of diflucan, rock and rolling, ready to go. Genetic testing. That's it. So I spoke with my therapist and couple of things I want to discuss with you guys, couple of things that I thought were interesting, and then I have some questions for you guys. Hey, Lilac Lime. I love my therapist. I absolutely love therapy. And we were talking about one second, because I'm kind of trying to go back to the beginning. Like I'm thinking of all the major bangers that happened, but I'm trying to think how did I get there? I don't know. But what I want to, it doesn't matter. I don't need to know that right now. I kind of want to get into anyway the things that so the other day, I don't know how many of you were in here with me the other day, but I really did have a real realization, not cognition, that's a Scientology word, epiphany. And what I saw, and I talked about this a lot today. Okay, I need a card. I probably will then. So the other day I realized that, and this is huge for me. It may not be huge for you. I don't expect you guys to be like, oh, wow. Okay, nurse. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I wasn't going to take the diflucan until I just started itching. Because here's the thing. I've taken Augmentin before and not gotten a yeast infection more than once. So I usually like to wait until I have some kind of signs. And usually the signs are that I just want to scratch off my ham wallet. So if I start to get that way, I'll just pop that pill. So the other day I realized that, and again, this is huge for me. It may not be for you because most of you didn't grow up in Scientology, but it was huge for me because I really, really, really am a big believer now in thinking for yourself, using your own voice, even if it's scary, even if your voice shakes, even if nobody stands with you, even if you don't have your friends anymore or people have left you. Hey, Stacy Toms, I'm a big believer in doing it anyway, right? Like doing it anyway, just because I was so kept from doing that my whole life, right? Like I was very nervous as a Scientologist and followed, it's just a strict set of guidelines. When you're a real seasoned Scientologist, we think very differently and it's a entirely different language. So from that point to now is two totally different people. You're looking at somebody totally different versus who I was. Yeah, super controlled. Good word, Kim is blue, within Scientology. The walls of Scientology are very, very different than being out in the real world. I feel like Scientologists truly are They are given a certain amount of room to move, and that's it. They're given a certain amount of thoughts to have on their own, and that's it. And everything else is LRH, L. Ron Hubbard, right? Who's the founder of Scientology. So what I realized the other day, and it's worth repeating because this is fascinating to me, and this is basically how I worded it to my therapist. Hey, Amy M. I said, basically, I had a real bad issue coming out of Scientology with externally reaching for answers from other people, not myself, but others. And I remember my therapist early on saying, you've got to stop doing that. Like, you've got to turn inward and look within. Like, just try. Like, stop asking everybody for the answer to things. And I was so automatic. I didn't even know I was doing it, really. And that's where I learned, hey, decultified. Yes. That's where I really learned to stop doing that, like to correct that habit. It's an addiction, really. It's probably also a way of people pleasing, right? And not just people pleasing, but not having the courage to be yourself. Like, why do you have to ask everybody else for answers before you can make a decision? I wouldn't even say that's people pleasing. I would say that's more because you're fearful. You're afraid. You're afraid to show who you really are. You're afraid to be yourself. So you want to be a little bit of everybody else. You want to get a little bit of everybody's approval. So then you can make a decision to jump, right? Instead of jumping and deciding what to do, it's what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Before I can decide, so that way I can be a little bit in shape into who you want me to be. And then I'll be more socially acceptable in this world and not made fun of, or you think I'm weird, right? Hey, Vicki Andrews. Yeah, it's group think. Well, I grew up on group think. So that was fascinating. But the big thing for me was I'm a big believer in realizing things about yourself and embracing those things and either loving what you realized or changing it into something that you want to be. Like, you can always change what you don't like about yourself. That's kind of magic if you really think about it, because you can't change much else. You can't not like something about someone else and change it. You can't even do that really with an animal. Like, you can't do that with much in this world. But if you see something about you that you don't like, you can change it. That's pretty magical, really, because again, you can't do that with anything else. So I'm a big believer in that. Like, constantly changing, constantly growing, learning what I like, what I don't like, and piecing it all together. And in Scientology, I realized that I would see things about myself, and this is so fucked up, but I would see things about myself. I'm going to pretend I'm in a church of Scientology right now because it's really insidious and evil how they do it. Okay. So I'm on course right now, or I'm in session with my auditor, which is like a therapy session, or I'm on course with the supervisor. Either way, doesn't matter. And I have some realization about myself, which happened all the time. Not really much different there. I still do that. I work on myself a lot. And I would go, oh my God. And my auditor would go, what's happening? That's like a big thing in Scientology. They go, what's happening? And I would go, I just realized that when I was 7, right? Whatever, who cares? And they would go, wow. And they would validate you. They do this all with a big smile, right? Because they want you to be excited about what you just realized, and they want your money. So they want you to keep going forward, right? Up the bridge you go. So I would go, wow, that's amazing. And they'd go, that's so cool. Oh my God. And like, they would be all excited for you, right? And they'd go like this. Now, I love what you realized. Let's see what LRH says about it. And this is so evil. This is such evil tactics right here. So and I'm telling my therapist this today. So they'll crack a book open and they'll go, okay. So I want you to read this paragraph here for me. And I'll go, okay. Okay. Yeah. And they'd go, so you were almost right. I like your thinking. You were very spot on about that. But here's what LRH says about it. So I want you to apply that. Okay. Hey, Lori Lee. Now, that may not seem like a lot to you, but what I realized the other day is how evil that is. That is some serious major brainwashing, but serious spiritual abuse or just abuse of the mind. Because what you're doing, and hopefully if you can get a child, right? It's even better if you can start a kid out that way in life, like me, and you swap their originality, their ideas, right? What came out of this mind, right? You take that and you go, well, you were wrong, but you were close. Now, here's what LRH says. So let's replace it with that. So slowly and over time, you're indoctrinating that person. You're getting them to not trust what they think. That's fucked up. I compared this with my therapist today to Jeffrey Dahmer, which I know sounds insane. But Jeffrey Dahmer did the same thing, but physically, he tortured humans. He drilled holes into their skulls and poured some kind of an acid concoction into their heads, thinking that would create some kind of slave. Okay. Most evil thing on planet Earth you can do. I feel that L. Ron Hubbard did the same thing, but spiritually to us, right? He basically was drilling holes into our heads, going, let's pull all of your original thoughts out of there and replace them with what I have said and this policy and that policy. And then you only think that way. And then what starts happening? You don't think for yourself anymore. And you start reaching, going, what does LRH think? I don't know. I could not tell you one time, and I was in 38 years, I was in Scientology. I cannot remember. This was my big beef with them in the end when I was arguing with my mother-in-law on those recorded calls. This was my big realization at the end when I was finally detaching from Scientology and the cracks were in the foundation at this point. I even said this to Brenda. Not one time, good use of that word, Kim, not one time has anybody ever said to me, well, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts? Never. Always. What does LRH say about that? Let's go see what LRH says about that. Never, ever, ever. And what's gross is the entire basis in a PR version wrapped up with a bow for the non-Scientologists on TV and in commercials. And when you interview a Scientologist, what's the big thing they say? Scientology allows you to think for yourself. Scientology teaches you that what's true for you is what's true for you. And that's your real integrity. It teaches you that you just have to think for yourself. Bullshit. That's the trap. That's the really fucked up thing, is that's the trap. You don't think for yourself ever at all. It's never done that way, right? But they make it look that way. So then when you go in and join, it's just so little by little, and they're validating the shit out of you the whole time, right? So they're going, butterfly girl, I'm a Cancer sign. My birthday was a few weeks ago, July 8th. So, Jen, so it's fucked up because they do it. Hey, Dawn, they do it and they go, wow, that's a great realization. Good for you. That's amazing. That's because of all the auditing you've been getting. Let's go see what LRH says. Here's what LRH says. And so it's all done with this smile and like, wow, look at you. Yeah, it's the bait and switch, Kim. And it's really gross. And so I just realized all of that the other day. That's huge for me because that's one of the reasons that I had such a problem with what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Because I was so addicted to what does LRH think? But I couldn't do that anymore because I wasn't a Scientologist. So I'm in therapy and my therapist is like, you've got to stop with this like reach for, he was like, you know the answer. What do you think? And I was like, I don't know. Do I have a problem with that? And he was like, yes, badly. He was like, you really, really, really want to know and assess what everybody else thinks. He was like, you really have got to start thinking like and making decisions on your own. And ever since then, that was years ago. I'm so much better at it, right? Like now I'm super, super aware when I ask what people think because I really want to know. I'm also really aware. Oh, I love that butterfly girl. I'm also really aware when someone pushes what they think on me. I will usually in my head be thinking, like, I'm not going to do any of this. As opposed to in the past, I would have been like, okay, exactly, Puka Vista. Good night, Caitlin. They trick you into believing you're making your own decisions by offering you two options packaged differently. It's like saying to a child, you can play for either 60 minutes or 1 hour. Oh, God, that's so evil. I was just going to say, has anybody seen Bunny Fufu? That's crazy. Like about a minute and a half ago, I was going to say that. Hey, Bunny Fufu, and I'm happy to see you. I was wondering if you were doing all right because I haven't seen you. Reese, please read what I wrote. I've had a lot going on with my very disrespectful daughter. Doctor said I have to have a nuclear test done for my heart. My kid is going to kill me. Dawn, that's horrible news. All we can do is pray for you and hope for the best. I'm kind of at a loss on what you said there. That's terrible. It sounds like you're not in a good place with your daughter. And I think that's incredibly common these days. I've heard that from a lot of people. And I hate that for you. And I'm really, really sorry. I don't know what to do about that, but that's horrible. And it can obviously very much affect your health. I believe that 100%. The people we surround ourselves with, the relationships, the stress can absolutely affect our health. So, Dawn, I hope that you're able to do something about that. You know, that's another whole separate conversation, but I wonder about people who don't talk to their kids. Not like I know people who don't talk to their kids because I grew up that way in Scientology. That's a common ass occurrence. But in the real world, like, okay, she said my daughter needs to leave me alone. I've had enough. I wonder about that. I wonder about people who do not talk to their children. And no judgment, by the way. Like I don't mean it like in any kind of a judgmental way. Um, kids are incredibly hard work. And when they grow up to be whoever they're going to be, may not be somebody that's good for your life, your health. And I'm kind of curious as to how people deal with that. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to clear my throat loudly. Hold on. Okay, I think that worked. Yeah, no, John, I'm sure it's incredibly hard for you. It's got to probably be one of the hardest things in your life. But I do wonder about that. People, I know you're not the only one. I talked about this today too in therapy. It kind of ties in with this. Like, do you think you'd be in life as was not? I think I'd be a lot different if I wasn't a Scientologist. We for sure. Good, Dawn. I'm glad you're seeing someone. I'm glad you're in counseling. I also said this today to my therapist, and I think this is true. I don't know if this is an American thing or just a mother pressure thing. I think moms, parents too, dads too, but I think that there's this pressure like you can't admit as a mom that like your child or children are not your number one. You jump in front of a bus for them. They're the loves of your life. They're your favorite thing in this world. You always put them first. Hey, Courtney Ann, I think parents are pressured to say that. Now, most of them probably feel that way, but I know that there's also parents who don't feel that way. And I think that's perfectly okay as well. They're just afraid to admit it because society, if you don't say like my children are my everything, I'd give up everything for them, I'd jump in front of a bullet for them, like sure, but I think people feel pressured to feel that way, and I think it's okay if you don't feel that way. And fight me, I know people are pissed at me right now for saying that, um but I think kids can grow up to be just like anybody else, and if they're super super toxic, they're super fucking toxic, right? Look at Rob Reiner. How do you think they're doing? Him and his wife are dead because their kid killed him. Like, I think that sometimes it doesn't work out. And I think that I sound incredibly insensitive saying that right now. A lot of that is my Scientology. Hey, Kiki, a lot of that right now I'm recognizing is my Scientology. I don't, yeah, Allie, toxic is toxic. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I had a pretty interesting talk with my therapist about this today. Not exactly that. Hey, Tuvia, but he said something to me that I thought was very, very, very interesting. Yeah, Renee B. And not everybody's willing to admit to what Renee B just said. It's perfectly okay not to like your kids if they're not healthy for you. I know that's hard to hear, but I agree with it. My son doesn't have a dad in his life. You guys know that. He's almost 17. He needs a dad at this point in his life. He really does. It's kind of a thing. He needs a father figure, right? Because why? He's shaping into who he's going to be as a man. And I have failed that for him. I don't have a father figure for him in his life that he's willing to communicate with. He's in a weird spot in his life and he doesn't want to, right? So I thought it was interesting because my therapist said this, and he said, interesting, Debbie. My therapist said this, and I liked it a lot. He needs a dad right now. And you are not providing that. You are not what he needs at this point in time. He needs a dad. And nothing I'm really going to do at this point. He said, you're kind of just, he's going to be an adult male very soon. In 15 months, he'll be 18. And he said, I love how he put this. He really needs that male influence right now to shape who he's going to be as a man. He has to. He doesn't, but he should. And he said he can't be really, really good as a man so much on his own. He needs that influence. I agree with that. And here's what he said. He goes, it's like an athlete. He goes, it's like you have a really, really, really good athlete. The athlete isn't good just because the athlete is good. He's good because he has a coach. And I never thought of that before. I never looked at it like that, but it's true. He's not just a really good athlete. He's a really good athlete because he's had somebody helping him to be a really good athlete. And so you need that. And that's all, that just made me think of that in my therapy because of Don Paraso's comment. And it makes me sad. It breaks my damn heart. I wish that things were different, but they're not. I'm doing the best I can, but it's hard to play both the mom and the dad role at this point. I too didn't have much of a father. So it's hard for me to fill those shoes. But Kim is blue. What was also interesting about the coach part of what I just said, that athlete part, I said to my therapist, back to here's what LRH says about it, right? Here's what LRH says. Here's what you need to do so you could replace your own original thoughts with Scientology's thoughts, right? My therapist said, unfortunately, he goes, that's a lot of religion. That's not just Scientology. He goes, that's the one you grew up in. Yeah, Don. He said, but that's a lot of religion where like Christianity or I don't know, Catholicism, any of those things. He said, you grow up in that with here's what they say, and they're kind of jamming it at you, throwing it at you. And what I thought was interesting, that's probably true. Now, I didn't grow up in Christianity and I didn't grow up in Catholicism. I grew up in Scientology, but I'm sure based on what people have told me, if you're raised from day one in a certain religion, it's kind of similar. Like you're kind of told what to think, what to believe. These are the stories, right? I mean, to a degree, some of you may or may not agree with me on that, but loosely, I think that's true. And we were talking about that, and he goes, and it's kind of unfortunate because some of that stuff is shoved down people's throats. It's indoctrination. But I thought it's like the athlete and the coach, right? I don't know if you're following what I'm saying. Now I feel bad because this is just me working through this shit and maybe it's not making sense. Yeah, Kim is blue, but it's similar to the athlete and the coach. I don't think that makes religion a bad thing. I think there has to be a balance, right? Like, I think it's good to say, these are the stories and this is what we believe. Thank you, Stacy. No, P. Taylor. He's not really talking to a lot of people. He just does exactly what he wants to do. It's kind of complicated. Thank you, Ghostwriter. Thank you, Nicola. So, what I was saying to my therapist, because he was kind of poo pooing religion, he was like, well, that's what religion is they're kind of forcing you on what to think. And I said, yes and no. Yes, Komodo. I said, yes and no, though, because it's like the athlete, right? It's like the athlete isn't good without their coach. How are you supposed to have any form of religion or belief system if you don't have the religion? It's the cramming it down people's throats that's wrong. Thank you, Komodo. I love turquoise. It's the cramming it down people's throats that's wrong. But at the same time, I could see religion being a very healthy, good thing, like the coach, if it's healthy and balanced. I think people need that kind of coaching, right? Like in anything, I think people kind of need it. Where it went wrong for me is shoving it down people's throats. Um, Thousands of coaches have been a father figure for kids that either didn't have one or, yeah, kind of, oh, for sure. Debbie Zito, I'm sure that's true. Hey, Jeannie, did you have a birthday last Friday? If you did, happy birthday. And if you didn't, I'm just totally wrong. I do remember horrifically you telling me that your sister passed away on your birthday and your sister had my birthday. I remember all these things about you. Hi, Philip. Welcome in. Uh, Thank you, Holly, if you're talking to me. Your birthday was last Friday. Well, happy birthday to you. I hope it was okay. I'm going to take a drink. Thank you, Julie. But it had to have been hard because it reminds you of your sister. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about your loss of your sister, but I do remember that you had a birthday. So happy birthday to you. I hope it was a good day. I hope you were celebrated. Yeah, I like that, Nicola. All religions have some helpful teachings, and some are over the top with how they deliver that. I think it's all in the delivery. And I think it's never good to tell anybody, especially a child. Guys, you may disagree with me on this because a lot of you are religious and I am not. But I think it's important. Thank you, Holly. I think it's important to give kids choices. And thanks, Debbie. And I think it's totally cool to introduce a religion, but I think it's also weird to shove it down somebody's throat and go, this is what you believe. I think it went good, Jeannie. I'm glad to hear that, babe. I think it's also, I think of my time in Scientology and how just evil, truly evil, that really was, right? To take, it's just, I think we always realize different things about Scientology, but it's all groupthink, right? It's just a bunch of slaves. It's a bunch of soldiers thinking the same thing, but also putting them into it. It's so, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I got to do more Scientology content. It's really a disservice to myself. I'm not going to heal if I don't talk about this stuff. Quite honestly, I need to talk about it because the more I talk about it, the more I realize just how evil Scientology is. Hey, Copper. Hey, Abdazzle. As far as creating slaves, right? But the thing that makes it, yeah, Kim, but the thing that for me, it makes me sad what they do to kids because they're removing all originality out of a person. Even when I would realize something and go, oh my God, I just realized this about myself, they'd go, wow, let's see what L. Ron Hubbard says. Here's what LRH says. So I want you to follow that. That was really good. You were close. You were close, right? Like that's so horrific. It's removing someone's thoughts and replacing them with L. Ron Hubbard. But then you have so they do that slowly and over time. And I realize this may not be what you guys want to talk about, but I sometimes have to process this because then what happens is they put you in this ridiculous state of fear. And every Scientologist, and I don't say this lightly because I don't speak for other Scientologists, I really only like to speak to me. Thank you, Nicola. Every Scientologist, they would never admit to this. They'll never admit to it, but it's the facts and it's the truth. Every single one of them. Um, Thank you, Barbara Walters. Every single one of them is placed into a state of fear because they are threatened, mildly threatened, and in a way that it doesn't feel like a threat. But the disconnection policy of Scientology. Hey, Drayson. Uh Drayson, that's a great point, and I'm actually going to talk about that in a second. They want you to be very fully aware at all times of the Scientology disconnection policy, right? The being declared policy. So they're constantly holding that over your head, right? Going, don't do this or you'll get declared. And then if you get declared, you have to disconnect from your entire family. You'll lose your job. You won't be able to know these hundreds of people anymore that you were raised with. They constantly remind you that if you don't stay in line as that slave, right, then you'll be declared. And if you're declared, you're outcasted into the world. Total fear equals control. And this is what I was saying today. And I know we all know this and we've all heard this, but this is such a good truth. And I wish I could call up all of my Scientology friends who are still in. It is a hostage situation. And say this: I'd love to corner a Scientologist kindly, with respect, not like screaming at them like Aaron, but I'd love to corner one of them and go, hey, if it's so good, why are you not allowed to question it? And I know you're not. Don't tell me you are. You're not. Yeah, butterfly girl. I mean, let's face it, that's kind of the goal of, I feel like, planet Earth. There's so many people that want control over you, and it's weird. My ex-husband was that way. He wasn't a Scientologist. Aaron Smith Levin is that way. Like, people who want control over women. Like, well, I should say men and women, but I was thinking of Aaron and I immediately thought women. But if you're not allowed to ask questions, that is a screaming red flag. And what was I going to add to that? This is where I wanted to ask you guys something. And before I ask you what I was going to ask you, will you please hit subscribe while you're in here? Please, please, please hit subscribe. People are getting unsubscribed, or they just decided they hate me and they're unsubscribing and leaving. But if you don't hate me, please hit subscribe. What do they gain from their control? Everything. There's a great movie, Nicola, called The Red Dragon. And it's the original, it's supposed to be the prequel to The Silence of the Lambs, which I love The Silence of the Lambs. I heard it's a really good book, but in the movie, there's a serial killer in this movie who's really, really, really gross. The way he kills people, it's really bad. And he's an FBI agent, the guy, and he says to the agents in the field who are going to go looking for this guy, he goes, we have to find him because he will never, ever, ever stop what he's doing. He'll keep doing this forever. He'll never stop. And the female FBI agent looks up at him and she goes, why? And he goes, because it makes him God. Would you want to give that up? And I attribute that to so many answers in life about things, right? Like, that's why Aaron is the dick swinging man that he is. He thinks it makes him God. Sure, follow the money with Scientology, but honestly, why do people want to control people? Because they think that it makes them God. It makes them higher than the rest, right? Like, if you've got a bunch of people under you that are afraid of you and doing whatever you want, there's some real sick puppies on this planet that get off to that. I wouldn't want to be a manager at a position in a job. I don't want to control people. I don't want to tell people what to do. It's not my thing. You know, if you could have all the money in the world or all the power in the world, I would take all the money and go hide in a cave. I don't want to have control over people and run people's lives, right? But there's a lot of people out there like that. It gives them power. Yes. And people are on real fucking power trips in this world. And it's really a bummer. But I wanted to play this for you because I was listening to it the other day. And before I play this, I just want to say this. I love men. Okay. So I don't want to give the impression that I don't, or, you know, I don't feel like poor me. Men are so evil. I don't think any of that. I did, Charcoal Ninja. But I do believe this to be true. Even though I love men, I still think this is very true, what this guy says. And I want to know from the women in here if you agree with this, because it really, 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 when I listened to it, I was like, oh shit, that is very accurate. Like all of the things he said rang true for me. It doesn't make men bad people, but there are certain men, and I'll tell you this, I've met more than I haven't, right? That are like Aaron Smith Levins of the world, that are very chest out, dick swinger, walking egos, right? Like all of that. We've all met men like that. I've met a few women like that, but way more in the male department as far as like ego driven than I have women. Met a few, but way more on the male side of it. Now, us as women, we have our own issues, guys. Don't worry. And like I'm talking to all the men in here, there's like one. I think it's Joel Sachs. Old Charlie's here. So listen to this and tell me what you think. I think this guy made some really, really, really good points. But again, this is not a dig at men. This goes deeper than that about us as women and how we, this is some serious brainwashing. And I just wonder what you think. All I want to know is what you think about this. Just listen to what this guy has to say.
The managing and tiptoeing around the male ego that women have done for generations is an absolute juggernaut of emotional labor that nobody talks about. I feel like the emotional work that women do to bubble wrap the male ego is one of the most labor intensive yet invisible jobs that is done in any heterosexual relationship. And this is also true in the workplace, in families, and just in public life in general. Because a man that has done no work on himself has a fragile ego, okay? And a fragile ego cannot separate accountability from identity collapse. And so women have to manage that. And this isn't women just being nice to us, right? This is, how do I tell him the truth without him feeling attacked? How do I ask for basic respect without triggering defensiveness? And here's a big one. How do I disagree without him withdrawing, exploding, or centering himself as the victim? All of this is emotional labor. And I feel like women are trained to do this early on in life. Like they've had to learn to soften what it is they're asking us, right? Like they say maybe when the answer is no. Or they use 10 extra sentences to cushion one boundary they're trying to get across to us. And here's one that I think happens a lot, right? She brings up a harm that was done to her and ends up having to comfort the very person who caused it. And none of this is because women are more diplomatic than men. It's because millions of women have died learning that a fragile male ego is a landscape that has to be survived. Like a lot of what society views as female communication skills is really women just becoming fluent in male fragility for their own survival. The managing.
That was really eye-opening for me. And a good, Eric, I'm sorry I overlooked you. How the fragility of the male ego, that's how it was for me in Scientology. Like my father was so fragile, like incredibly angry all the time. He exploded. You had to tiptoe around, and it's sad. And I'm not saying women are perfect and like we don't have our own things, but I do think it's true. After listening to that, I was like, that is so fucking true. And I bet every single, yes, Meredith, every single one of us can probably relate to a situation where we had to say something, you know, a maybe instead of no, or we had to cushion things with 10 sentences before. Yeah, it was really powerful, Nurse. I'm glad you guys also agree with me on that because I thought I was going to get some really rough feedback on that. Like, you're a man hater. No, but I think that's very, very true. And it doesn't mean it's not a sweep for all men. By all means, it is not. But there's so many of them. I like what he said in the beginning of that. Men who don't work on themselves are extremely ego driven and fragile. I think of Aaron, right? Who refuses to work on himself. He says he doesn't believe in therapy, right? So you're just going to be doing the same thing over and over because there's no work to be done, right? There's nothing that you need to grow from or learn from. So then you just stay in the same loop, and all of the women around him are fucking tiptoeing or trying to get escape from him without him blowing up and doing fucking 50 videos on them and destroying their lives, because that's what he does, right? I'm using Aaron as an example because, again, that's somebody we can all relate to and we know who I'm talking about. I could use my ex-husband, but we don't all know who I'm talking about. Most of us know who I'm talking about with Aaron. Not all, but most. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't happen very often, but the other night I called out my hubby and I told him his comment was gaslighty. His response, fuck you. I ignored him and then he apologized. I mean, yeah, that doesn't mean that your husband's a bad guy, but yes, that's exactly what I mean. It's very true. You think everything is going okay, then you hit some kind of wall with them, been through that. Yeah. There's so much truth to that, Kathy. You got to have a relationship. It was like that. It was exhausting. I really understand why women, as they age and they've been married a few times, they're like, I'm done. I don't want to be in a relationship anymore, because it really is night and day. Men and women really are different. And I mean, Tommy is, most of you know who he is very masculine. He's not like a balance. Tommy is very, very masculine. I like that about him. It turns me on. I like masculine men like that. But, and he has softened so much. Tommy has grown and learned a lot in the last couple of years. Where did I get this? I can send it to my mods to share. I saw it on Facebook. But in the beginning, Tommy was more ego driven like that. And I had to kind of walk on eggshells and be careful, because it felt like he would say something like, you're correcting me. And I'm like, he doesn't do that anymore. Now he's like, oh, yeah, I could see that. He's like, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, he's very different than he used to be. But that took work. Like, that took a lot of work that he had to do on himself. I couldn't make him change, but he did that. Let me send this to my... I'm going to send it to my mod group right now, and they're going to...
tiptoeing around the...
Okay. The mods should be able to share that link in here so you guys can click on it. It's very relatable, Donna Cooper, and it's not... I just wanted to preface it with, this is not a dig at men, right? It's a dig at specific men who choose not to grow or learn and just be a walking fucking ego, which makes the world a much more difficult place for us to navigate. Because I don't think women do that, right? Like, I feel like I'm happy to be corrected. I'm happy to be wrong. Like, I would not say, I don't think I'm a great person, but I would not say that I'm ego driven. I don't feel like I'm ego driven. Like, I have no problem being wrong and corrected. And I know I'm not super, super bright. Like, there's certain things I know I need to learn. I need to change. I need to grow. I think as long as you stay like that, you're good. But when there's people that you meet that are like, nope, I'm good. I'm healed. I'm fucking like, I don't need help. That's where I think people become difficult to work with, to deal with. Here's the reel that I just played. And I just wanted your feedback on that, because for me, that also big time attributes to my childhood. Like, my father... speaking as a lesbian, I'm glad I don't have to deal with men, because I really don't care for them, but it sucks that some women have to deal with that. Yeah, I would imagine, Secret, that a lot of, no, hey, Susan LeBlanc, I'm taking the pill. It's in a pill form now. That a lot of probably lesbians, if I had to guess, I mean, let's be fair. I bet some lesbians have become lesbians because of men who treated them that way. Some lesbians might have been lesbians their entire lives, but some may not have been their entire lives and became lesbians because of that, right? But I would imagine that the lesbians in here could give their opinion on this. Jojo, I'm looking at you. Thank you, Nicola. But I would imagine that you are glad, like Sigrid, that you don't have to deal with that shit. It's a thing. It's a real thing. All of us who have had a male boss, like, I've had that. Hey, Melissa, many times. Hold on, guys. I'm going to blow my nose. Melissa, every time I see your name, I think of Marissa Martin, and it makes me sad. We lost Marissa Martin and I miss her. Hey, Kat. People don't choose to be lesbian or gay. They just are. Bethany, I don't speak for people like that. I don't know that that's true or not true, but I don't really want to say that that's true because I don't know. Like, I have a friend who is not on YouTube who became a lesbian in her late, almost 30s, but 20s, in her late 20s. And she told me that she chose because of the treatment that she received from the men in her life. So I don't know. I don't know. I know that's a very controversial topic, but I know for a fact that I have a friend that's a lesbian that told me that she chose to become a lesbian because of the male treatment in her life. So I don't know. I don't know. I know some people are just born a certain way, and if they're just gay, they're gay, right? Like that would be like saying you like men. Like I just know I like men. I know some people just like the same sex, but it doesn't really matter to me because I love people and accept people for who and what they are. And if they chose or they didn't choose, doesn't matter to me. They're accepted. But I don't I don't know that that's true, and I don't want to speak for people that I don't know about, if that makes sense. I am mainly lesbian because there are very few men I trust enough to constantly be around, and I'm into men, but I occasionally genuinely question how I still am. Interesting. I've always known I was gay, but things didn't happen to me when I was a child. It makes me not like him even more. Interesting. I was straight, bi, then lesbian. I was confused what I wanted until I was 40. Wow. I didn't know that about you, JoJo. That's really cool. Some people are bisexual. That's true. I was just gonna say your friend was probably bi then, Reese. Stacy, probably. That actually makes sense that she would have been bi because like I know for a fact that I'm not bi. Like I just know I don't have an attraction to women sexually. But you're right. That friend of mine probably was bi. But I don't want to ask her that because I don't want to challenge her and it doesn't matter, right? Like again, I love her and I accept her whether she loves men, women, both. It doesn't matter to me. I think sexuality is a spectrum, many shades of who someone finds attractive. Yeah. Hey, DS Kitty. Um, yeah, and it doesn't really matter to me how you became what your sexual preference is, I guess is all I'm getting at. Like whether it's a choice, not a choice, doesn't make a difference to me because I'm going to love you either way. Hey, Honey Lou. I just thought that was really interesting. I thought that was a really interesting reel, just as far as I don't know, it just answered a lot of questions for me. It answered a lot of questions for me. I like women so much more emotionally than I do men. I probably do too, Lady O. I don't have the gay part. Yeah, love is love. Absolutely, Melissa. Like no one's going to be judged for who they love. I was very hardcore judged for who I love being married to a way older man. And I know what that feels like. And it's such a fucking gross thing to do. Like, what do you care? What do you care if I'm married to someone who's old, who's also female, right? Like, giant age gap. Who cares? I mean, it's odd to me when people care who other people love. I just think, how is that affecting you in any way? That's bizarre. It's strange. I've never understood that. Also, depending on the circumstances, it may take some people to figure out things for themselves. If you mean people being gay or straight or any of those things, Vicky, I could see that depending on your upbringing too, right? Like depending on if you were grown up and raised in like a super strict religious household or something. I don't know. But I don't speak to other people's circumstances and I don't know. Like I'm not going to sit here and go, gay people do this, straight people do that. That there's no black and white on that and it doesn't matter to me. As long as they're adults and consenting, I don't care. I just want everyone to have love in their life. Doesn't matter what kind, as long as the love is between, two consenting adults. You just answered that. Yeah, Lady O. I've been with straight women. Actually, that's the only kind I date. What? I know it's weird, Kat, that people insert their opinions into who other people love is the weirdest shit. Wait a minute. I've been with straight women, actually. That's the only kind I date. I've never heard of that before. So you're a lesbian and you only date straight women. That's confusing for me, Sigrid. That's confusing. So you do not date gay women. You do not date lesbians. You only date straight women, but you are a lesbian. I've been with straight women, actually. That's the only kind I date. That's fascinating. I have never heard that before. I don't know how that works. I'm curious about this now. Like, I kind of want you to tell me, but you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to explain yourself. But I find that fascinating. Wow. Is that Lady O said, is that because it's more challenging? Hey, Rip Curl. Sigrid said yes. So yes, because it's more challenging. So you are a lesbian and you only date straight women. I would imagine that is incredibly challenging, like really hard. I would think that's very difficult. Wow. No strings attached, says Robin. I don't know the answer to this, and I don't really want to put Sigrid on blast. You don't have to tell us the ins and outs of your choices in life. Please don't feel like you need to. But I do find that fascinating. I find that very interesting. Wow. Well, I kind of like this answer. I don't either. It just happens. They end up liking me. Well, now that's organic. That's cool. I like that. I can respect that. It just happens. They end up liking me. Sigrid, whatever works. I like that. Yeah, there you go, Yadira. Why did I know you were going to say something? It's challenging, but it's funny how it just falls on my lap. Interesting. I mean, right? That's just one way to do it. If that works for you, that works for you. Again, as long as it's two consenting adults, I think that's great. That's kind of wild. There was so much more I wanted to say about my therapy session today, but honestly, and I thought I made notes, but you know what? I don't think I did today. And what will end up happening? Oh, that was the only other thing I wanted to talk about real quick. Oh, I like this answer. Sigrid, they probably feel safe with you. I like that. I like that a lot, Vicki Andrews, and there's probably a lot of truth to that, which I like even more. I like anybody that makes people feel safe. Loving this conversation. Maybe you guys can help me stop being a prude. Kristen Hawk, that's your choice though. And nobody should help you to stop being a prude, to be honest, because that's kind of past the point, in my opinion, of consent, right? If you will do what you're going to do when you're comfortable doing it, right? I don't really like the word prude because prude to me just means what you're comfortable with, right? With another person, typically in the realm of sexual. So to call someone a prude is very shaming, in my opinion, because it's whatever you're comfortable with. That doesn't label you into anything. Like if someone were like, oh, don't be such a prude. Like, really? It's what you're fucking comfortable with. Are you really going to name that? Like shame me with a title on that? I don't know. I don't like that. So by you saying maybe you can help me to stop being a prude, but if you're comfortable in what you're comfortable with, that's not prude. That's just your boundaries. That's just where you're at. Right? And I don't think I think it's a weird thing to call someone a prude because it's almost like trying to force them out of a shell that's where they want to be. I don't know. I really just want people to be who and what they are. And I would greatly appreciate it if people would stop trying to force them or push them into some comfort zone that they're not comfortable in. So to call someone a prude is kind of shaming. I feel like it's a little bit shaming. I've heard that many times in movies and stuff, like, don't be such a prude. It's like, so you're telling me to be uncomfortable with something sexually? You're asking me to be? Like, what the fuck? Like, if my friends were saying that to me, I'd get new friends. Honestly, I'd get new friends. I've never liked that, because what that basically is saying is like, take your clothes off, like have sex. No, I'm not comfortable with that, right? Like you should stand very firm in what you're comfortable with, sexually or otherwise, consensually, whether it's sex or not. I get real weird about that. I don't talk about this stuff very often because I want to come off as like some psycho about it, but I'm pretty fucking weird. Like, I'll give you an example. I have a teenage boy. Good night, Eric. And since he was, I mean, I've always been age appropriate hey, Maisie, when I talk about sex with him or anything sexual, but we've been talking about it from a pretty young age, just like introducing it slowly and what it is. But the very first thing I introduced him to was consent, and boys and girls, and how we never ever touch them or ask them to do anything that they're not comfortable with. And I've really, really, really gone over what consent is with my son since he was very young, because I always wanted to really, really, really hit hard what is okay. And I mean, also people touching him, right? Like not just others, not being like, you don't touch anybody without their consent. Sure. But you also don't let anybody do anything to you without your consent. It goes both ways. And it's something you should stand firm on and be proud of, in my opinion. Like you should be very proud of that. Maisie Shiloh, the rash started before I picked up the Augmentin. It started yesterday. So they're not the same thing, but I would have thought that too. And again, I feel like you're not going to like me for this. So I don't want to go into this conversation too much, because this is a very controversial topic. Now, it really shouldn't be, because consent is consent. And I think we should all agree on that, right? Like, I'll tell you this, my ex-husband, I've learned from this. This is from experience. This makes me uncomfortable saying it, but I've said it before. My ex-husband, I absolutely love sex. I've always loved sex, like even more in my later 30s and up to now. I enjoy it more than I did in my early 20s. I guess I should put it this way. I like it more now because I'm more comfortable in my body and trying things out and being adventurous. And I just really enjoy it. I like the intimacy of it. I don't want to have multiple partners, but I really like with Tommy, especially, I really love it because we're very, we have a lot of good chemistry there and we like a lot of the same things, but we're also very adventurous. And I'm not trying to make this weird. My last husband, I also loved sex, but he would wake me up at like 3 a.m. a lot to have sex with me. And I don't like that. I really don't. I want to sleep. I like a full night's sleep. I hate waking up even to go pee in the middle of the night. And he would like do this to me and try to wake me up. And then he would kind of start to just paw at me. And I cannot tell you how many times I would in my half asleep state, I would go like this and like I would slap thank you, Chris Crafts and Coffee. I would like slap his hand away. And I remember I'd be like half asleep and I'd be like, no, like kind of trying to get him off of me. And I remember more than once I would finally wake up, right, from my sleep and I'd go, no, I don't want to. No, I'm sleeping. And this is so fucked up. I don't want to trigger anybody, but he would say, no means yes. That is absolutely a breaking point. And now I say that I did not feel that way then, right? I learned through experience and I've grown since. Nobody would ever do that to me now. Nobody would ever do that to me, right? Unless I was like tied up against my will, nobody would ever do that to me. No does not fucking mean yes. And I have told my son that from a very young age. You do not touch other people's bodies, right? You ask for, if you can, like even now when we do a meetup, I'll go, can I hug you? Right? Because I want to hug you guys when I meet you, but I certainly don't want to just assume you're cool with me coming up and groping and hugging you, right? Like I want to make sure that's okay. It's your body. It's your personal space. So it bothers me greatly. And my son is well versed on this. He's well educated on consent and what that means. And you also need to give consent and all of that. But calling people a prude to me is like pushing the boundaries of their consent. Kristen Hawk, I don't want you to want help not being a prude. You shouldn't even call yourself a prude. That's like me calling myself dumb. People get mad at me for that. When I'm like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm dumb, right? Like none of those things are true. So stop saying it. And it's the same thing with you. Only you can decide if you want to step outside of whatever you're comfortable doing into a new comfort zone. You can do it or not do it, but it's your body and it's your body parts and it's your time. So it bothers me when people are like, don't be such a prude. That's a very pressuring, very uncomfortable thing to say to someone because it's like, so basically what you're saying to me is I need to be a lot more loose with my consensual boundaries because according to you, I'm too uptight. That isn't up to you. This is my body. These are my body parts, and who has access to them will be my decision, not fucking yours. And it's not a decision to make lightly. I used to cope with men and have sex. That was like a coping mechanism with me. Thank you, Amy M. That hasn't been the case since I was in my early 20s, right? And now, of course, I have my partner, but if I didn't, in my experience, I would sleep with people way too fast. I enjoyed sex. So it wasn't a problem for me to be like, let's go out on a date and go have sex. That's okay if you do that. But for now, let's say I were single now. This is a temple to me. Like it's just like it's like anything else. I'm pretty guarded these days. I don't allow people access to me super easily, nor do I want access to you. Like I have to work just as hard to get access to you if I want to be your friend. I have to work for it. It's earned. I feel the same way about me, right? But I probably wouldn't do so well dating in the dating pool because I would probably say, I'm not going to sleep with you anytime soon. Like this is this is my body. These are my body parts, and who has access to them, it's going to be very special and it's very sacred. That's how I feel now. If I would have said that to myself 10 or 15 years ago, I'd have been like, that's hilarious. Like I would have slept with a lot of different men, and I did, and I regret that. But it was because I had really, really, really low self-respect. And I also put men higher than myself. I looked up to men, right? Which probably has a lot to do with my childhood and upbringing, but I kind of worshiped men. I always reached masculine attention, right? If a guy in the past flirted with me or was like, aren't you pretty? I'd be like, oh, like gross. No, I don't need someone to tell me I'm pretty. I need to know that I'm pretty. I need to tell myself that. Nothing wrong with a guy flirting. I don't want to like shut that down. But what I mean is, I put so much importance on it. Like, I need that in my life. You don't. And I wish that I hadn't have done any of those things, like just slept around. But I also don't mind talking about it and openly admitting to it because it is part of my life and it's the truth. I'm not hiding from that. I'm a little bit ashamed of it. I don't know if the word is ashamed. I probably feel more regret about it, not so much shame, because if I felt shame, I think if I would have known who I was then, I wouldn't have done those things, but I didn't. And therefore I did those things. It's kind of like we talked about yesterday. It couldn't have been any different because it wasn't. Couldn't have been any different because it wasn't. There's no sense in going back and going, well, I might have, I could have, or if I'd have known. No, it wasn't any different because it wasn't. But I know better now. When you learn consent and boundaries, it changes everything. Well, and what Kathy Brown, I think when you learn consent and boundaries, that's when you have utmost respect for yourself. Because let's be honest, people, in my opinion, this may not be true, but this is what I think. People who don't um, live a life valuing consent and boundaries with themselves, like not allowing people to walk all over them, not allowing people to use them. Those are the people that have a lot of self respect and know who they are. People who have no problems with, just letting people do whatever to their bodies or walk all over them, those are the people who I was 15, 20 years ago, letting people use me and walk all over me because I didn't have self respect. I didn't care if you used me or abused me. It didn't matter to me because I was just looking for masculine validation. So now I go, you're fake, you're real. I'm not just going to mess with anyone, right? And I like that. I like where I'm at there. But back to the prude thing, I just feel bad for you, Kristen Hawk, because you almost said it like, I wish you could help me be less prude. And what if you're perfect just the way you are? If you wanted to be less of anything, you would be. But you're not, because you're not. I am overweight and diabetic because I'm choosing to not put any importance on my diet or caring about my future body and all the damage I'm doing to it. It's whatever you put importance on is what you're going to work on. So now I'm like, that actually seems important and I don't want to fuck up my body and my kidneys too bad. So I think I'm going to kind of start to think about that. It's the same thing. It's whatever you think is important, you're going to do. And if you wanted to be less prude, you would be, but you're not because that's who you are. And that's not a bad thing. That's a beautiful thing, right? And that's the other thing. I like the title of this stream. I heard that in a reel today. They are who they are going to be, right? So like it goes back to like accepting people where they are, not for their potential, not because you've seen them be this way before, putting someone exactly on the shelf where they belong. Not a good thing, not a bad thing. It's just not setting an expectation on people. Hey, Mrs. Patty Cake, it's just accepting them. Hey, Lisa, thank you, exactly where they are. And that's very that sentence, they are who they're going to be, is similar yesterday's stream when we learned that simple sentence of kind of when you reflect on the past. I tend to go, I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have done that. I hadn't have done that. It would have been this way. No, it went that way because it did. It didn't go any other way because it didn't. Like, end of sentence. Stop fucking digging. Stop worrying about it. Like it didn't go that way because it didn't. And that's kind of how I feel about they are who they're going to be. So I get kind of tired of like people being like, yeah, but he's this, but he's that. Just meet people exactly where they're at. They may change in the future, but we don't know that. So I know that this sounds very vague what I'm saying, but people are who they are going to be, and you need to either accept that or not. But Kristen Hawk, I really, really like you. And it makes me sad. I'm sure your girlfriends are nice people, but if I had a friend who was saying to me, like, stop being such a prude, that's basically saying, like, so you want me to be a totally different person? You don't like me for who and what I am, clearly, right? Like, I feel like we let those little digs slide. I'll be honest, like I deal with that a lot in my daily life with close people who I've known forever, like family members. They'll say those little silly digs like that. And you kind of have to look at it and reflect on that and go, so like, I don't want to try to start a fight with people here, but it's like, so basically what you're saying is you want me to be a totally different person? Stop being such a prude? That's a pretty heavy fucking ask. You want me to change what I'm comfortable with? Whether it be sexually or something else? You're asking me to morph, shapeshift into something else that you want me to be. I'm tired of that shit. I'm starting to really feel it, right? Because I get a lot of people pressuring me right? Going like, you need to do more of this. You need to be more adventurous. You need to do more of that. And it's like, well, those things could be true. And I probably should be a little more flexible. Thank you. And I'll take it into consideration, but I'm going to do what the fuck I'm going to do. Right. And I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do what works best for me, not you, because you don't live in here and you don't live in this house and you don't pay my bills. And I get a little fucking tired of people being like, you should do this more. You should do that more. You should think about doing this. You should take a class on this. You should consider going to college. Like, I realize everybody has a good heart in what they're saying, even Kristen Hawk's friends, because they're her friends. But I do kind of also take into the consideration, like, you need to bounce out a little bit of my lane, right? Like, I will do what's best for me. I'm fucking 42 years old and I don't need to be saved. And so, Kristen, I love you, girl, and it just makes me feel a little sad because prude is a judging. It's a judgy thing to say, and it as a woman, yeah, Stacey, we all should, but like as a female, if you mean it sexually, which that's kind of how I take prude, right? Like a sex scene in a movie making someone uncomfortable. I could see someone being like, stop being such a prude, right? Well, let's use that as an example. Let's not even use real life. Let's use a sex scene in a movie, okay? And your friend on the couch next to you goes, "Oh, stop being such a prude." That's kind of a judgy fucking thing to say, right? So you want me to be comfortable with this because why? What fucking difference does it make to you that I'm not like, if anything, a good friend, right? If someone saw that you were physically uncomfortable watching something, wouldn't a good friend say something like, do you want me to pause this or let's fast forward this part? Or do you want to change the movie? Right? Like that would be someone who would be a little bit more no, Henry's World today. We were using an example. Someone in the chat said that she is I think she said her friends have told her that like she needs to be less prude. I'm probably on such a high horse here and I'm probably overdoing it and kicking a dead horse also, but I just think it kind of goes back to this. This is kind of like what I'm circling around these days. What makes you feel safe? Who makes you feel safe? The biggest currency to me is being around people who exude that, who make me feel safe. It's okay, Henry's World today. I want to make people feel safe. I also want them to feel seen and heard around me, right? As a matter of fact, this made me think, do you guys remember the girl at Publix who was so excited she was going on her first date? She was like 17 or 18 and she was going on a date with the boy who worked at Publix. This was like 2 months ago. I have looked for this girl ever since then. And I never saw her again. And I thought maybe she doesn't work here anymore. I fucking saw her yesterday. She was bagging my groceries. Her name is Sid. She's so cute. And I went to pay and I'm looking at the cashier and I always thank the girl or guy who bags my groceries too. I always thank the cashier and the person who bags my groceries and I thank them by name. And I looked over at her and I went, "Oh my God." I said, "You went on your first date like 2 months ago." And I said, with the boy who works here and I want to know how it went. And I was like, I have lost fucking sleep over this. I was like, how was the date? And I embarrassed her because I was all excited and that's how much energy I had about it. And like the other cashier was looking and there was like 3 customers and they were all looking at her and I could tell I embarrassed her and I felt bad. And she went, "Oh, we're just going to be friends." She goes, "But I can't believe you remember that." And I said, I've literally looked for you ever since I saw you that day. And I want to know how the date went. And I went to push my groceries away and she came kind of running after me. And she said, "It really means a lot that you remembered that." And I said, "Oh, I was curious." I said, "I really wanted to know." I said, "But good for you that you're just going to be friends. I like that too." I said, "No pressure, girl. No pressure. You always have choices." And she said, "You just made me really feel good about that." That's my point is, okay, it was sexually because I've only been with a handful of people. That's where you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That doesn't make you a prude. It doesn't make you anything, right? It doesn't make you anything. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. And you should be loved and accepted for who and what you are. That's it. End of sentence. So, but it also matters making people feel safe, and your friends should make you feel safe, right? They should make you feel that way. And so, Kristen Hawk, I just hope that you have a really good group of people who love and support you. And I probably just took it the wrong way and I'm being over the top about it. But I never want a man, a woman, anybody, right, who is at the sexual age of consent. I never want anyone to feel like they're either a slut. Like, what about the opposite, Kristen Hawk? What about if you had a friend who was like, God, you sleep around so much, you're a slut? What's wrong with that? That's another thing that's shamed a lot, right? Like, you're either a slut or you're a prude. Fuck those labels. That's ridiculous. That is so fucking stupid. It's your vagina, it's your body, it's your choice. If you are of age and you want to do something or not do something, you shouldn't be pressured or guilted or shamed for any of those things. See, this is why we don't ever talk about this stuff, because I really get on a roll about it. And I don't know why. I don't know why I get on a roll about it. I don't need to get on such a roll about it, but I do. And I just feel like there's so much weird shit around that with especially women. Like, we either sleep too much with guys or we're not doing it enough, and that makes us a prude. That makes us Kristen Hawk, right? She's only slept with a handful of people. So that makes her kind of a prude. What the fuck? Why does it make her anything? Why wouldn't it just make her who she is? Why are we putting a label on that? It's gross. It's weird. So what you're saying is she's not slutty enough? Don't be such a prude. So you want me to fuck more people. So you want me to risk getting Philip Wright. So you want me to risk getting STDs and go outside of my comfort zone because you're not comfortable with how little of the people I sleep with. Or I'm a slut, so I need to scale back on the amount of people I'm sleeping. That's such a weird societal thing for me. It's weird. And I don't care if that's men or women, right? Like, I think it probably happens more to women, but it's just a strange ass topic. Like, what the fuck is it to you who I sleep with and the frequency in which I sleep with people? Shouldn't you just be there for me as my friend? Like, aren't you supposed to just support me either way? Unless there's something concerning going on, and then by all means, you should step in as a friend and go, hey, I'm worried about this. Yeah. What? I've cut, God, this broccoli smells so good. You guys don't even know. I've cut most of them off. Yes, they wanted me to participate in their sex parties. Yeah. Nope. Nope. Now, yes, the answer would be yes, Kristen, if that's what you want to do. But it's really fucked up to me to pressure someone to participate in anything sexually, whether it's parties, which I don't think I've ever. What the hell is a sex party? I mean, that makes me think of like a naked house, like the Jesters, like naked parties. That's to ask Yadira about that. I don't know anything about sex parties, but I don't care if they're pressuring you to have sex with one person or like said party. That's fascinating. That's kind of curious about these sex parties. But look, I'm pretty open sexually. Like, I really, really enjoy having sex. I'm not very vanilla these days. Like, I'm definitely more, I would still say I'm very vanilla. Like, you're not going to see me like swinging in a sex swing from the ceiling, right? There is a weight limit. And if I come crashing down from that thing, that's why I won't get into one of Tommy's hammocks. He's like, climb into this hammock. I'm like, yeah, I'm good, because I would never get over it if I did that. And I'm like swinging in a hammock in his living room with him and his brother there, and it goes crashing down. I would totally jump out the window and you'd never see me again. So that's the reason I'm not going to get into that thing. But I'm definitely probably vanilla. I just think I'm not. But what I guess wow, we have another first timer in the chat. Everybody say hi to Jane. Jane, welcome in. My God, we had 2 new people today. Please hit subscribe. Thank you, Jane, and welcome in. I love a good sex scene. That's why I watched the Outlander series. Never heard of it. I don't mind a good sex scene myself, and I really enjoy sex. But it took me a long time to get there because you have to also be accepting of your body and open, and you have to, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but you have to yeah, me too, Philip, right? I have a ghost hair. Why is my hair falling out? I haven't even started this damn Ozempic and my hair is already falling out. I consider myself at this point, I really enjoy sex because I'm so open with my partner. I'm so open with being like, ooh, I kind of liked that. Do that again. Ooh, try it this way. Ooh, I like that. I'm not afraid, right, to be open about it. But sex parties, no, I don't think so. I'm too scared of that. Hey, daft woman. Abigail Christenhawk. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no crime worthy of death. She is as innocent as a murder victim. Holy shit, Abigail, that's heavy. Wow. Old Testament, I would say so. Wow. Thank you for the super chat, Abigail. It is weird. Why do I damn, I got another one. Do you ever have a ghost hair that's just like sitting on your arm? Not to be confused with your arm hairs. I agree, Mrs. Patty Cake. My husband is older and has been asked if he has money or a big D. Why say that? That's gross. That's weird. That's a weird thing to ask people. Animals suck, people are better, or people suck, animals are better. You know what's funny about that? And then I'll leave. Please hit subscribe while you're in here. I saw a reel the other day that really pissed me off. I agree with Mrs. Patty Cake. I really, really, really love animals. That's another whole thing I can't get into. Like, I will never support the circus. Don't even tell me how much you love SeaWorld. I don't want to know. I'm never going to ride the elephants. And I don't even I won't go to a zoo, but that's my thing, not yours. But I'm really weird about animals. I hate animal abuse stories. I'm a huge animal advocate. Let's just put it that way. That's why I have all these freeloaders living in this house. And I watched this reel the other day and it really pissed me off. And it was two men talking, and one dude was being interviewed. And he goes, I really hate when people say they love animals more than they love people. And he goes, because that's a really sick, twisted thing to say. He goes, if you love animals more than you love people, he said, you're fucking twisted and a sick person. And I was like, what? I hate when people blanket statement something like that. And he goes, it's a selfish thing to say. He goes, I would kill 3 dogs for my best friend. He was like, because dogs are not as important as people. And I was like, oh, you're not going to make any fans with this talk, dude. Now, I get that some people feel that way, but it's also just a very polarizing conversation. And he said this, and I thought it was super weird. I know we're all over the place in this stream today, and I have switched the topics up a lot, but it's your fault on this one, Mrs. Patty Cake. Oh, I'll never support the circus. I would never go to a circus, Amy M. I won't do anything. I won't go anywhere where animals are used for human entertainment. Animals should be where they belong in nature, and I can't go look at them in a zoo because I don't want to see them in a glass container. But he said, having dogs and cats, even pets, he said, is selfish of people because they're slaves. He said, your house cat, your dog is a slave. He goes, it's something you keep because you think it's cute and fun. And I was like, that is so not true. First of all, my animals run my life. I get this much room in my bed at night because all 5 of them are there. I would not call them slaves. The other weird thing about that, I thought, was how are they slaves? So as opposed to what? Turning them out into the world to go get hit by cars and fend for themselves, domesticated little house cat. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I know that was unnecessary, but I said it. Abigail, closing, I will make you beautiful forever, a joy to all generations. Oh, I like that. The Lord will be your everlasting light, and your God will be your glory. At the right time, the Lord, will make it happen. Old Testament. I like that one, Abigail. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Abigail, speaking of, I was going to maybe do a God stream this week. We were going to do it last week, but I got sick. God streams are announce it in advance because this is not a God channel. It's not a Christian channel. It's none of that to anybody who hasn't been here before. I'm an ex-Scientologist. I grew up in it, born and raised, unless you talk to Aaron, but for 38 years. And I like and believe in God now. And I really, really, really like having what we call God streams. And we do them every so often. And I just like to have a nice group chat about God. And I have usually a lot of questions and we just go through it. It's not for everyone, and we very rarely do them. So that's good too. It's not like we do it all the time. But I was thinking maybe if there's time this week. Oh my God, it's already Wednesday though, isn't it? Why am I thinking it's Monday? Because my period's coming. Shark week. Yeah. Yeah. I would like to do one at some point in the next 3 to 5 days, if possible. And you just made me think of that, Abigail. But Abigail, thank you for the super chat. My cats run my household. I just didn't like that the guy shamed people saying if you like animals more. That's not fucking up to you. I'm sorry, but that's not up to you. And to take a group of people and be like, animals are this and people are that. I just hate people who do that, who speak for groups of people. Can't you just appreciate people who love animals and donate their money to animals and rescue animals and help animals? Like, there's nothing sick or twisted about it. And I get fucking tired of people who label other big, large groups of people for something. Stay out of that shit. Like, you don't need to be commenting on that. Okay. I realize that I have a lot of opinions today and I probably need to just shut my shit down and be quiet. Sherry loves animals too. Some girl said kids are not children, so don't call your pets your babies. No comparison. Yeah, I hate it when people say that. I believe that we are mothers to our animals. We take care of them. We're very maternal. People can be fathers to their animals. Like, I really believe animals are like our kids. I don't give a fuck what people think about that. I stand by it. I love my animals. I love all animals. If I die rescuing, jumping into a pond because there's an alligator in there, or if, I wanted to pet a grizzly at a cabin I rented sometime, just know that that's how I wanted to go. That's exactly how I would have wanted to go, right? I love animals. Yeah, if I do a God stream, can I give a heads up? Well, that's kind of why I announced it now. When do you guys want to do it? Not everybody's into them. So I was thinking today's Wednesday. Thank you, Philip Wright. Yeah, Katie. I mean, who are you who are people to be like, animals aren't kids and you're not a mom to a pet? Says you. I get so tired of people telling you what you are and what you're not. And I'm looking at you, Kristen Hawk. I'm tired of people being like, don't be such a prude. You should smile more. You should try this. You should lose some weight. You should do exactly what you want to do. That's what you should do. You should do exactly what the fuck it is that you want to do. How about that? Right? Like, who am I to say what you should be doing? That you should be more prude, or you should be less of a slut, or your animals aren't your real children. Am I going to sleep better at night because I told you that? Why do I have an opinion on it in the first place? Man, I'm about to lose my shit. I think it's because of my period. I think my uterus is calling. Yeah, I won't, Abigail. If it works for you, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You'll catch the next one. Oh my God. See, Butterfly Girl was brand new. Best live I've ever watched. That can't be true. Butterfly Girl, you got to increase your standards, my friend, because I'm not that great at this. But thank you for the vote of confidence. And I just hope I see you again. 3 Cats is new. She's only been here like a week and we love her. She fell right into the community and I feel like she's always been here. She's kind of the Mandela effect. It's like, like Curious George always had a tail, but he didn't, right? So Butterfly Girl, I hope you come back and please hit subscribe, guys. Quit dicking around. Having an animal is calming to me. Lucky Linda Lulu, that is such a cute name. I absolutely hate the weight thing. You are perfectly framed. Thank you so much. I wish I weighed a little less. I'm 180 pounds. If I could lose 20 pounds, I would really, really love that. If I can't, then the fupa stays, right? The fupa and the chalupa are going to sit right where they belong, along with my thut, which is where you don't have a thigh anymore. It's where your butt merges with the thigh in the back. So it's not like this nice cut, like a butt cheek. It's just a thut. It just merges into the butt. So you have your thut. Maybe it will always be that way, right? And that's okay too. Exactly. If pets weren't our kids, why do they have our last name at the vet? I agree with that so much. Thank you, Lupita. It's a Cancerian thing, Butterfly Girl. It probably is. I can also thank you, Katie. I can also call out other cancers. I'm like, are you a Cancer sign by chance? I have done that so many times, and they're like, yes. I'm like, I knew it. I knew it. Do you cry a lot? Yeah, I thought you might. It's an age thing. Yeah, lucky Linda. It'll be fine either way. As long as I can live another 10, 20 years. That's all I'm really looking for. I just want to eat some good food still. I still want to have some really good sex and then slide into the grave, right? Although I want to be cremated just in case. And honestly, I've said this, but La Casa Pizza in Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm from, is my favorite. So if I die and no one knows what to do, just cremate me and throw my ashes into a La Casa Pizza box. I think that would be really fun. And then play something fun, right? Like exactly, Butterfly Girl. Yeah, Philip, right? Like play some fun music, right? Play something. Super Tramp. Play Breakfast in America. I get it, Butterfly Girl. I was blasting that in the car today on the way to Costco. I was like, take a look at my girlfriend, because she's the only one I got. Doo-doo. Not much of a girlfriend. We never seem to get along. Dee. Which I'm not even sure if those are the words, because I don't know the words to that, but I do love Supertramp. I'm already losing hair and I haven't even taken one Ozempic pill yet. My hair is falling out. Is it because I was sick? Am I nervous? Is it because I need to get laid? What's going on? Why is my hair falling out? Exactly, Butterfly Girl. You get it. So Nickelback. I'm through with standing in lines at clubs I'll never get in, and I bleed, bleed. Tell me what y'all want. I want a naked girl. I want a quesadilla. All right, that's going to fuck up my throat. I love Supertramp. Grew up on the stuff, really. Can't say enough about it. Love Supertramp, Billy Joel, Creed, absolutely not. Stacey Toms, but a happy birthday. You're so cute, Stacey Toms. Guys, we've been Nazareth. All right. Really kicking it old school. I still haven't ruled that out that he's my father. I'll be back tomorrow because why not? And I would say we'll do a God stream in the next 3 to 5 business days. Stick around. We'll label it. We'll call it out. We just don't have a date yet. And I think that's what matters. That's what's important for all of us. Butterfly Girl, if you're not back in the next day or two, I'm going to be really upset with you. And I just want you to know it. I love the cars. Okay, we definitely have to. I'm going to be upset if I can't find you again. I'm going to be talking about you 5 years from now. I'm going to be like, does anybody ever know what happened to that Butterfly Girl? I really clicked with her in that one stream and she never came back. Please don't let me down. There were more animals in the ark than people. Wasn't there just one person in the ark? That should tell you everything you need to know. I'm going to use that from now on when people try to shame animals. I'm going to be like, God loves animals more than you. And here's proof. There was one dude on the ark and there was 1 million animals. Hey, Silver Lining. Thank you for being on the replay. Hey, Wendy Brewer. So hit subscribe, quit dicking around. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. I'm getting better, though. I really am. Alana. All right, just really quick, though, Alana, because we're going over the 2-hour mark a lot here. And I feel like at 2 hours, people want to get the hell out of here. Real quick. Komodo's like, thanks, Reese. Interesting discussion. It was bad when people say that. Oh, I love Tom Petty. It was bad when people are like, thanks. This was a really interesting stream. Thank you so much. Yeah. Komodo's like, oh, I won't be back, but thank you. Thank you for the awful fucking time. Can I get my 2 hours back, please? Real quick, Alana. Guys, for those that don't know, this is not real. I got it for my birthday, but it's to look official. This is the Cult of Scientology theme song that I grew up on, and no one likes it except me and Shelly, my mod, but that's okay. Well, and Alana, because she pays me to sing it. And I am as deep as a puddle, so you can pay me to sing anything. Love you, Stacy. Just real quick. I'm not going to do the whole thing, Alana. We haven't sang it in a while. Hold on. I almost lost it for a minute. I haven't sang this in a long fucking time. Words from a book showed me the way to be free of the shadows of yesterday. But the price of that freedom we all must pay from now on. I like how I was like, all right, I'll just give you a tiny, and I'm like, but the price of that freedom we all must pay from now on. Wow, I scared Punky. Joining together, we held our ground, and we lifted our voices, one mighty sound. Really tiny. And we struck down the walls of darkness. We stood tall. Ooh, that's stinky. We decided to take a stand to defend the rights of man. I was like, okay, Alana, just a tiny little bit. We stand tall, no turning back, no turning, found the way. We stand tall, forever strong, forever. He lives on. Hey, la-di-la. Hey, laddie, we stand tall. Bleep, 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 bleep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Little tiny. Hey, laddie, la. Yeah, and battles for sure. There you go, Alana. There you go. I don't know what's worse. Butterfly Girl, you'll get used to it. Trust me, it's a catchy banger, like Sophia just said. Favorite song. All right, it's not my favorite, but I do pay you every time you sing it. Kat, I appreciate the super chat and I love you. Yeah, if I do Nickelback, it does lead into oftentimes We Stand Tall. You're right, Debbie Love and Life. I didn't even know you were still here. Thank you, Butterfly Girl. You fit right in. You better be back tomorrow, though. Okay. You signed a contract. You don't realize it, but it's a contract and the mods lock the doors so you can't get out. Love you, Kat. And thank you for the super chat, girl. Alana, thank you for your super chat. I do. And battles. I need to get a shirt or something that says We Stand Tall. That would be kind of cool. But you stand small. Did you have any idea that you were really tiny? By the way, Butterfly, I changed my voice when I talk to her. I just don't want you to be frightened to where you don't come back. Love you too, Alana. Did you have any idea that you were as small as you are? Did you know that you were going to look like a frosted mini wheat with eyeballs? Do you ever ponder that in this world and ask and question the Lord why you never grew up and you're just tiny? Komodo, keep singing, makes us smile. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for being here. I hope you come back, and I love you, Komodo. Thank you. We stand tall. We stand tall. All right, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Please hit the subscribe button. Hers are really sleepy. Interesting. Thank you, Abigail. I will be back tomorrow afternoon. I'll let you guys know how the casserole with the broccoli and the cauliflower turned out. I bet it's going to be amazing. Probably going to eat some and then go shit myself because of the augmentin. So I'll see you guys. For those of you that are going over to the lifeboat, I'll see you over there. And the rest of you, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Thank you for being here and listening tonight. It's my love language. Quality time matters to me. So thank you for listening. Hey, Olga And thank you for the super chats, the support, the memberships. It means the world. It always does. And I never take that for granted. So thank you. Love you, Abigail. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Mods, thank you for being here. I mean it. It means the world that you sit here for this long and protect us. Thank you. Love you too, Jen Finberg. All right, guys, here comes Fred. See you tomorrow.